Hi everyone, I am back today with a no-buy update. It's been a while since I've done an update because I've just kind of been rolling along with my spending. Nothing too exciting, no big news to share. I haven't broken my no-buy in any sort of way. But since we're at the end of September, I figured I would do an update that covers the months of July, August, and September. It's been 3 months since I've done an update. To start off with, I have been doing very well. I am still under budget. So I had set a budget for this year, for 2019, and I wanted to stay at the budget overall, irrespective of the individual categories inside the overall budget. So if I spend a little more in one area, I'm not going to worry about it too much because I do plan to have everything balance out at the end of the year so that I meet my overall budget. We are already about 3/4 of the way through the year, and I am still at around 77% of the budget that I set that's prorated for this time of the year, if that makes any sense. Said in another way, if I were on track to meet my budget for the end of the year, I would be at 100% of the prorated budget for this time of the year. And instead of at 100% of that, I'm at 77% of that. So I am well on my way to meeting my budget and even being below my budget by the end of the year. Of course, there's still a few expenses that might crop up. If you have pets, you never know if there's going to be some unforeseen expense. We're also traveling to Japan in November, so that's going to bump our costs up a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty confident that by the end of the year, I am going to be able to meet the budget that I set for this year, which is super exciting because I set the budget, I would say, quite conservatively if you consider the buffer that I put in for little treats here and there, going out to dinners and such. But I also set it quite aggressive compared to previous years of spending. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. Setting a budget is more art than science, I feel sometimes. There are a few updates that I want to provide though, a few things that I've kind of tweaked along the way and some things that I've noticed about the things that I bring into my home over the past 3 months. So the first thing I want to talk about is alcohol. In the middle of July, I actually implemented an alcohol no buy because I found what we were doing was we were continuing to buy alcohol even though we weren't really drinking it that much. We would just go to the LCBO to check out what was new, and maybe a bottle of wine would catch my eye because it was great value, or perhaps we'd be walking down the beer aisle and some sort of craft beer would catch our eye. I am a big fan of those craft beer labels, so I often base my purchasing decisions on that, and of course if I like the type of beer. I'm not big into sours, but if it's anything else and it's got a pretty label, I'd often be tempted to buy it. What I was finding was that our alcohol stash was just starting to balloon again. And also alcohol can be on the pricey side. So this was adding to my expenses in a way that I wasn't altogether happy with. So I decided, you know what, this is getting a little bit out of hand. So we are going to be doing a alcohol no buy from around, I think it was mid-July to the end of the year. This worked out very, very well because there were times that we wanted to maybe go out and buy some more beer and whatnot, but because we had other stuff at home, instead we would drink the wine we had at home, or maybe we'd have a little cocktail instead. That being said, there were 2 instances where we did purchase some more beer, and what happened was we went to 2 breweries with the intention of just going there and having a beer at the brewery, but it was either really busy at one brewery left field, or the other one that we tried yesterday was closed. That was Bellwoods. They were closed for a private event. So instead of trying to make our way back one day because we weren't sure when we would be back in the area, we went into the bottle shop and we picked up a few things for home. Up until I decided to implement the alcohol no buy, I myself, for my half, had spent $367 on alcohol, and that was for around the first half of the year. Since implementing the no buy, I've only spent $28, and again, that's my half, for the 2 times that we purchased beer that I mentioned before from left field and from Bellwoods. I do also want to mention though that we tend to get a lot of alcohol for free for whatever reason. Either we see it given out on the street this happens maybe once after the no buy, or we receive gifts from friends. So we have added bits and pieces to our stash despite the no buy, but having the no buy in place has helped us to control our stash a little bit and also reduce our spending, which is really nice. I also wanted to mention that you can do this temporary no buy for any category that you're feeling a little bit kind of like overwhelmed with. In my last no buy update, I think I talked about hoarding groceries, and I feel like after groceries, I was starting to hoard alcohol, and now I can truly say that I'm not really hoarding anything that I'm aware of right now. Looking back at my what I bought this week, the blog posts that I do on a weekly basis, I didn't really see anything out of the ordinary in terms of things that I was buying that made me feel like, okay, maybe I'm just starting to hoard this thing or that thing. Instead, the things that I was seeing were things that I needed, that I was repurchasing, groceries but not an excessive amount, stuff for our pets, but again, I wasn't really stocking up on a whole lot of things. So overall, I think my spending and my hoarding tendencies have stabilized a little bit. One thing I did want to mention though that I was starting to take note of was my propensity to take free stuff. I've talked in the past about going through cycles with free stuff. There are times when I love free stuff, I can't get enough of it. There are times when I will just not want anything that's free regardless of what it is. And now I feel like I'm in a phase where I'm taking free stuff again without really thinking about whether or not I truly want the free thing. I did notice a few examples of this over the past 3 months. I got some free hair ties from the LCBO as part of a vodka promotion. I haven't even touched those. I picked up some reusable bags with face masks in them during TIFF. I am using the masks, but the reusable bags I really didn't need, and to be quite honest, I probably should have just returned them to the vendor so they could use them again and give them to somebody else. But I kept them, and now my reusable bag collection just got a little bit bigger. And finally, there were some sun chips that they were giving away at TIFF when I was working at the film festival, and against my better judgment, I did bring some home. Even though hubby and I are doing really well with processed junk food, we haven't been buying chips, we haven't been buying popcorn. We both love sun chips, so we were able to finish them no problem, but my throat was hurting a little bit, and I fear sometimes that letting one thing in will open the floodgates and we'll start buying that type of junk food again. So that wasn't the best decision on my part. I mean, overall, there was no harm done, but it just made me think, you know, why do I take these free things even though I don't really want them? I guess it's just because they're free. So I'm going to be trying to rethink free things, really pause and think about whether or not I really want that free item. That's still something I struggle with a little bit. That is pretty much it for this no buy update. I did mention earlier in this video that hubby and I are heading to Japan. That is going to be happening towards the end of November, and just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up with that, I am planning to buy a few things when we're in Japan, just to take advantage of the fact that we're in Japan. There are a few things on my list that I've been thinking about that I want. So for these items, I am going to be making an exception to my no buy. However, what I'm going to do is I'm really going to think about it between now, the end of September, to the time that we leave, which is the end of November. So I have a good 2 months or so to really ponder my purchases. I'm going to try to make a very short list of things that I'm looking for in Japan, and when I get there, I'm going to do my very best to stick to the list. Of course, something may come up that strikes my fancy and maybe I will end up buying it, but I'm really going to try to think about whether this is something that will enhance my life. Do I really need this item? Is this something that maybe I can go without, or maybe I have something that does the same purpose that I can use that I already have? These are the types of things I'm going to be thinking about leading up to the trip, and as well when we're on the trip. I will let you guys know how I do with that, and I will definitely keep you guys updated with these no buy update videos, as well as on my blog with my what I bought this week series. I can't believe we're nearing the end of 2019 already. I feel like this no buy has come at a really good time, and it's really made me rethink my purchases, my decisions to bring things into the home, and I am super thankful for that. I hope you you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you're doing a no buy, and if so, how you're doing with that. I will see you very soon in another video. Until then, please take care and bye for now.